Good happy Tuesday evening, March 29, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, bank robbed in Lee. Search underway for culprit. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Here's a song about a brawny paper towel. Stand tall, tear small, and stop the waste. Let's save more towels, it's not too late.
Jen and Tom, you can see the bank here behind me is calm. Of course, that was not the case earlier. And the search actually was very extensive throughout the wooded area here. The search is ongoing, but police say they have just scaled it back. Lee Police, State Police, and the Stratford County Sheriff's Office are all involved. Now, they've been on foot using dogs, drones, and a state police helicopter. Just after 11 this morning, authorities say a person went into the Northeast Credit Union on Route 125, indicating they may have a weapon, got cash, then ran away. Police say they're looking for a man wearing a black jacket with a Patriots logo, white shirt, a blue horizontal striped tie, and a surgical mask and regular glasses. They say it is possible the man has facial hair.
We're just generally a very safe neighborhood, so we all keep an eye out for each other. When I heard the helicopter, I got a little more unnerved. It's making me wonder exactly what they're looking for. I did have a brief message on my answering machine who they're looking out for.
No arrests have been made. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, so we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Live in Lee, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Trial begins for man charged in New Hampshire journalist James Foley's death. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Home is where life happens, and good housekeeping is where you get everything you need to bring your home to life. From science-backed product reviews to triple-tested recipes to genius organizing hacks, it's a whole world of possibility, all tested for you.
One man, Alexander Cote, already pleaded guilty to all 8 charges against him and will be sentenced in 1 month. But today, the trial started for another alleged ISIS member. El-Shafif El-Sheikh is standing trial in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia. Among the charges against him, hostage-taking resulting in death and conspiracy to murder. Prosecutors say he is implicated in the deaths of 4 Americans in Syria, including New Hampshire journalist James Foley. Foley's mother will be called in to testify in the trial. She is grateful to the FBI, Department of Justice, and other agencies for their efforts and says the men responsible for the brutal murder of her son and others must face justice.
This trial is very important because we must hold people who do this accountable. If there's ever to be any deterrence, there's got to be something that makes people hesitate before they take in American citizens.
Foley expects this trial will last about a month. El-Sheikh and Cote were captured in 2018 before being extradited to the United States. Reporting live, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. ACLU sues New Hampshire Department of Safety for release of fired troopers' employment file. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Are you looking for a rewarding career with purpose? Join our dynamic team that's dedicated to making a difference. Bring your talent to Riverbend Community Mental Health. Specialized behavioral health by providers who truly care.
Tonight, News 9 Investigates has obtained documents about a former state trooper who was fired last year that detail what the state police say he did during an arrest that got him dismissed. The documents are part of his employment history that the ACLU is now suing to see the rest of. WMUR's Amy Cavino is live now with more.
Tom, this is the interdepartment memo outlining why state police terminated Trooper Hayden Wilbur last year. We got it because Trooper Hayden wants his job back, and the Personnel Appeals Board released it to the ACLU when they filed a right-to-know request.
He engaged in an arrest in 2017 that was tremendously inappropriate, to say the least.
This is Trooper Hayden Wilbur in 2019 during a News 9 story about drug interdiction. According to court documents, Wilbur was assigned to the State Police Mobile Enforcement Team when he arrested a woman on Interstate 95 on suspicion of drugs. She was detained for 13 days in jail while officers waited for her to pass the drugs. Finally released after a full cavity search of her body. She sued the Department of Safety and settled for $212,000 out of court.
I have never seen a case like this.
Now, the ACLU wants to see Wilbur's entire employment file and says the public has a right to see it too. The AG's office disagrees.
The legislature has determined that police personnel records are entitled to confidentiality, and the state police has a duty to uphold that law.
The internal memo that formally fired Trooper Wilbur from New Hampshire State Police states, quote, "This investigation has revealed disturbing facts regarding your investigatory habits and overall integrity as a law enforcement officer, and informs Trooper Wilbur his actions mandate being included on what's known as the exculpatory evidence schedule, also known as the Lorry list. It includes law enforcement officials who have something in their records that could impact their credibility as witnesses or arresting officers."
He's terminated, placed on the exculpatory evidence schedule, and yet we have a government agency here, the largest law enforcement agency in the state, supported by the Attorney General's office, saying that this disgraced trooper, that trooper's privacy rights trump the public's right to know.
The ACLU presents its case in Merrimack Superior Court on Thursday. Trooper Wilbur goes before the Personnel Appeals Board next month to fight for his job back. We did reach out to Wilbur's attorney, but have not heard back. For News 9 Investigates, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Two more die of COVID-19 in New Hampshire as cases fall. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Start an LLC, corporation, or nonprofit with LegalZoom. Let's make it official.
Active COVID cases in the Granite State are back below 1,000 tonight. DHHS says 988 people have confirmed infections. That's 32 fewer than yesterday. 64 new cases were announced today. And although these numbers might not be accurate because of home testing, tonight 31 people who are COVID positive are in New Hampshire hospitals, while 6 of them are receiving COVID-specific treatment.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Former police officer set to plead guilty in a fatal crash serves years in prison. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When that plea will happen, Gene, is still to be determined, but the defense has asked the court to set a mid-April plea and sentencing date so that Tyler Berry can get his affairs in order. 21-year-old Sierra Croto was killed back in April of 2019. A memorial along Route 101 in Amherst marks that spot. At the time, prosecutors alleged that Tyler Berry was drunk when his pickup crossed over the center line and hit Croto's vehicle. Under the terms of the plea deal, Berry will plead guilty to manslaughter and falsifying physical evidence, but not any drunken driving-related offenses. The deal calls for Berry to serve 10 to 20 years in prison on the manslaughter manslaughter charge, but a judge will decide if he will get 3 or 2.5 years off the minimum. As for the falsifying physical evidence charge, it calls for Berry to serve 3.5 to 7 years, all of that suspended and consecutive to the first sentence. In asking that the court set the plea and sentencing date next month, the notice states he asked for this court to schedule the plea and sentencing in this matter in mid-April so that he can arrange his affairs to be incarcerated for a lengthy period of time. And this deal has also taken some time. The notice saying both sides have been negotiating for several years. But the defense says the time has come to conclude this case. The parties have worked long and hard to reach this disposition, and it's in everyone's best interest for it to proceed as a plea. There is also a civil suit against Berry that is pending. Now, an attorney for the family said they would have no comment on Berry's decision to plead guilty. Jury selection in the civil suit is scheduled to begin in November. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man accused of threatening New Hampshire judge. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Here's a song about a brawny paper towel. Stand tall, tear small, and stop the waste. Let's save more towels, it's not.
36-year-old Christopher Butler was arraigned via WebEx in Merrimack County Superior Court on Tuesday, charged with threatening a New Hampshire court judge.
Yesterday, we arrested Christopher Butler for 3 total counts, 2 counts of harms or threats against government officials and criminal threatening.
According to court paperwork, Butler lives in Maine, but filed a motion in Stratford County Superior Court to change the amount of his child support obligation. But Judge Philip Cross ordered Butler to pay $650 and then $50 a month, which allegedly is what Butler was upset about.
Essentially, on March 16th, Christopher Butler called the Court Information Center, which is a call-in center for the judicial branch, and made threats over a phone call on a recorded line to one of the call takers there.
The affidavit states that in that profanity-laced phone call, Butler said he had a terminal illness, emphysema, and he couldn't work. He also said he wanted to stab the judge in the eye with a pen repeatedly.
He then goes on to speak about the weaknesses in the security of the court, where he states to the call taker that if you have a ceramic knife, you can get it through the front door.
Butler also told police he had been diagnosed with PTSD.
This is an unfortunate case, I would suggest, Your Honor, of someone who perhaps has some mental health issues, did not feel seen by the system, did not feel that he was being respected, but is not a danger to society, to anyone.
Now, Butler is being held on preventative detention. An evidentiary hearing is set for Friday. Reporting live, Jason King, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Don't say gay bill signed into law in Florida. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Nina's got a lot of ideas for the future. And since anyone can create a free plan at Fidelity, Nina has a plan based on what matters most to her. And she can simply focus on right now. That's the planning effect from Fidelity.
Florida now, where Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law the controversial Don't Say Gay bill that restricts classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in elementary schools. Victor Kendo is in Coral Gables with the latest. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, George. As expected, Governor Ron DeSantis signed that bill into law, calling it a win for parents because, in part, opponents of it were, quote, injecting woke ideology into second-grade classrooms. It's dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by critics, but officially named the Parental Rights in Education Law, and it now bans classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3 and any instruction that is not age or developmentally appropriate. It's now up to the state to define those standards. The law also allowing parents to sue school districts that violate these policies, and those who support it say it will empower parents in the classroom. But for those who are opposed, many of whom protest for weeks, they argue it will further marginalize LGBTQ plus families while also preventing schools from helping LGBTQ plus students who are in crisis. This law is expected to go into effect on July 1st in time for the next school year. Guys?
All right, Victor. Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. And weather right now is clear, 30 degrees. And with full weather forecast, let's go to meteorologist Mike Haddad. Good evening, Mike. And Mike Haddad is saying mild weather moves in. Let's listen to that full weather forecast.
Thank you very much for joining us, Stormwatch 9 Weather on the Web. We are moving right through this week, and finally some change in terms of temperatures moving in our direction. We'll have milder days starting on Wednesday right through the upcoming weekend, although there will be a little bit of a temperature roller coaster from time to time between now and then. The next system, not until Thursday into early Friday, although next front moves in actually Wednesday night, signaling a bump in temperature even higher than we'll see tomorrow. And then mostly dry and seasonable for the weekend. Coolest stretch will be Saturday night, and a little bit milder on Sunday. Speaking of milder, readings back into the mid-upper 40s, back in the Ohio Valley and mid-Atlantic states today, with a lighter wind developing out of the southwest tomorrow afternoon. Some of that milder air works in here across many parts of the state. And then a warm front will pay us a visit. While we don't get that warm, 70s and 80s for Thursday and Friday, we should go well into the 50s. And if we get enough partial sun, near 60 in some spots for the end of the week. Nothing warm about tonight. It'll be downright cold, teens and 20s from north to south. We'll have fair skies all night and a lot of sun tomorrow morning. Then high clouds begin to approach tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night we could see some snow showers north and maybe a rain shower south. Out ahead of it, lower 40s north, upper 40s in southern parts of the state. Beyond that, it's even warmer on your Thursday with clouds, breaks of sun, couple of scattered showers. Morning showers on Friday, giving way to partial sun by midday and afternoon. Highs again into the 50s. It'll be breezy, a bit cooler on Saturday, but very close to average for this time of year. And then partly sunny for Sunday and Monday with highs right near the average for the early part of April.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Mike Haddad. Thank you for that, Mike. And we are going to switch gears and let's go into sports now. And here is WMUR News 9 Sports with Jamie Stayston. Good evening, Jamie.
Jamie Staten and News 9 Sports. All right, the Boston Bruins only have one loss in regulation in their last 10 games, and that makes them, along with the Minnesota Wild, the hottest team in the NHL. They look to keep it going tonight at home with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto and Boston tied for the 6th best record in the Eastern Conference.
Focus, bring your A game, play the right way. They're a really good team. They have a lot of firepower over there. They've been a good team all year. So we have to be ready for them and make sure we bring our game. But we love playing these games. You gotta love playing these, especially as the season goes on and it gets in deeper stages and playoffs are coming around. Like, these are the type of games that we're gonna see more often.
All right, Miami Heat come to Boston tomorrow night, and WMUR Sports will be on hand to cover the big game. Teams are both fighting for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Newcastle's Duncan Robinson plays for the Heat. He scored 15 points last night in a win over Sacramento. Robinson lost his starting position, but responded by making 5 3-pointers. After the game, he talked about his evolving role with the Heat.
Yeah, not a whole lot, just still be aggressive. One thing that really changes maybe is who I'm playing with. But,
just to try to be aggressive and do what I do. I'm pretty comfortable playing with anybody. At this point in the season, we're all pretty familiar with each other, so not much of an adjustment, really.
All right, Patriots have themselves a new safety. They agreed to a one-year deal with 26-year-old Jabril Peppers, the free agent coming over from the Giants. Deal's worth up to $5 million. Peppers is coming off injury last season, a ruptured ACL in his right knee. Cesar Martin back for his second year as the Fisher Cats manager. He will bring his team north early next week with the season opener on April 8th in Portland. His first year as manager in the Granite State had its COVID challenges, so he's really looking forward to this summer and year two.
Can't wait for that. Yeah, just like you mentioned, last year was, a little bit of challenge, the beginning of the season, not to have like a full capacity of fans, there was, we were wearing masks, there was a lot of, challenge, that we faced last year, but just knowing that this year we're going to have everything open, so like I said, I can't wait to, be in that environment.
They arrive April 4th. Grapefruit League, Red Sox at the Pirates. Boston started Nick Pivetta on the mound. Not a great outing. Gave up 2 home runs to Hoy Park and Daniel Vogelback. He went 4 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. He did have 5 strikeouts. Pirates win 6-2. Sox are 7-5 this spring. Opening day, 1 week from Thursday. And college lacrosse, AIC at Franklin Pierce. First quarter, no score. Franklin Pierce in white. Owen McCormick out of Hampstead to Connor Rooney for the goal. He had 2 goals in the game. Then Nathaniel Girardin to Caleb Akella for the goal. Make it 3-1. Akella, 4 goals in the game. They kept rolling into the second quarter. It'll be Akella to Stephen L. 4 goals, 2 assists for him. Ravens, they led 9-1 at the half. They win 20-5. They improved it 5-1 on the season. We have women's lacrosse tonight. Keene State at home.
Okay, very good.
Okay, and there you go. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.